In this lesson, we are going to be looking at this particular question. This question was taken from a Cambridge O-Level mathematics paper, which was written in June 2007. So number 1A. Number 1A says evaluate 3 plus 25 divided by 2. So it's 3 plus 25 divided by 2. The color coding of this lesson, I'm going to be using white to present what you should write as your answer when you are answering this question. Then I'm going to use other colors for illustrations. So when we look at this particular question, we can deduce that we are going to be applying what we usually recognize by the mnemonic BODMAS. Others call it BOMDAS. So for BODMAS, we know that B represents brackets, then this D represents division, M for multiplication, A for addition, S for subtraction. Then BOMDAS, B still represents brackets, M for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, and S for subtraction. So if you are to look for the difference between BODMAS and BOMDAS, you are going to see that here we start with D, then M, implying that we start with division before we do multiplication. But when we look at BOMDAS, we are starting with M, then D, which is also telling us that we can start with multiplication and then division. So what we take from here is division and multiplication, they are interchangeable. It does not matter which operation we start with. We are not going to alter the result which we should have. So if we are to combine BODMAS and BOMDAS, what we are going to do is we are going to have what I refer to as arithmetic precedence. Arithmetic precedence tells us that we always start with solving what is inside the brackets. After doing that, we then go to the power, which I'm going to represent with 2 asterisks, like this. Then from there, we go to either multiplication or division. We can start with any operation here. What I mean is you can multiply first before you divide. You can also divide first before you multiply. This is why we have DM here, and here we have MD. Then lastly, we are either going to add or subtract. So this is arithmetic precedence. Start with solving what is inside the brackets. Then you go to solving powers. After powers, it's either you multiply or divide. Then lastly, you add or subtract. Now, if we are to take what we learned here to answering our question, we can see that we do not have brackets, neither do we have powers. But here we do have division and also addition. We look at this arithmetic precedence, we see that we have to start by dividing before addition. So here it's going to be 3 plus 25 divided by 2. We can write it as 25 over 2, like that. Now we have to add this number 3 plus 25 over 2. How do we do that addition? We can transform 3 into a fraction easily by saying 3 over 1, knowing that dividing by 1 does not change the value of 3. When we have done that, we can then put our common denominator, which in this case it's simply going to be 2. 1 dividing into 2, the answer is 2. 2 times 3, we get 6. Plus 2 into 2 is 1. 1 times 25, that's 25. So our answer is going to be 6 plus 25, it's going to be 31. 31 over 2. We are allowed to leave our answer as an improper fraction. Actually, if you are going through a paper 1, it's actually advised to leave your answer as an improper fraction, because if you make a mistake while it's converting this answer to a mixed number, you can lose marks. So this is how we are going to go through 1A. Let us go through 1B now. 1B wants us to express 17.5% as a decimal. So it's 17.5% as a decimal. So how do we express a percentage as a decimal? In order for us to express a percentage as a decimal, we simply have to divide that particular percent by 100. So if we want to express a percentage as a decimal, so it's either decimal or fraction, expressing a percentage as a decimal fraction, we are going to divide by 100. If we then want to express a fraction as a percentage or a decimal as a percentage, we are going to multiply by 100. So you can have this in your notes as a reminder of what you have to do. If we are converting or expressing a percentage as a decimal or a fraction, we divide by 100. If we are expressing a decimal or a fraction as a percentage, we multiply by 100. So that is what you have to do. You can take that and put it in your notes for remembrance. Now, when we have deduced what we have to do, we can convert 17.5% to decimal, because this is a mixed number. If we are to write it as a decimal, 17.5% will be equal to 17.5%. Now 17.5% as a decimal will be equal to 17.5% over 100. So you shouldn't be confused and think that 17.5% is the answer we require. No, we want to remove the percentage and have this as a decimal. So in order for us to remove the percentage, we have to divide by 100. So the way we write it, we can actually put it as 17.5 over 100. Now let us divide these. If we say 100 into 100, that is 1. 100 into 17, it's 0, comma. What is the remainder? The remainder is 17. So this 17 is then joined to 5 to make 175. 100 into 175, it's 1. With a remainder of 75, then we put a placeholder of 0. 100 into 750, it's 7. With a remainder of 50, another placeholder, 0. 100 into 500, it's 5. So our final answer is 0.175. That is the answer we require. So this is what was required of us in doing this question. If you have any questions, may you please consider asking in the comments. If you derived any benefit from this lesson, may you consider liking, sharing, and also subscribing. If you want to join our private class, Learning Mathematics at Ordinary Level, you can WhatsApp us on this particular number, +263 71 521 3310. Thank you, take care, and have a nice day.